All right, what's up, y'all? This video is from, I think it's called Megyn Kelly Clips, something like that. But this is a video about the MLB players. It's called MLB Players Accused of Defacing Pride Month Hats and with Bible Verses. It's interesting. So we're going to check this out. I'm not going to hit the like button just yet. I don't know what they're going to say. So let's jump in this video.
There's been a controversy involving the San Francisco Giants, Rich.
Yeah.
You're the baseball fan. Okay, I knew it was San Francisco. And they, of course, it being San Francisco, and this was happening in like a lot of MLB not too long ago, they decided to recognize Pride Month by making the SF on the caps rainbow. Taste the rainbow, as they say.
Skittles.
And a couple of players decided, they didn't, object, but they added a reference to a Bible verse that actually does talk about rainbows.
Yep.
It's Genesis 9:12 through 16. The verse reads as follows: "And God said, this is the sign of the covenant that I make between me and you and every living creature that is with you for all future generations. I have set my bow in the cloud, and it shall be a sign of the covenant between me and the earth. When I bring clouds over the earth and the bow is seen in the clouds, I will remember my covenant that is between me and you and every living creature of all flesh, and the water shall never again become a flood to destroy all flesh. When the bow is in the clouds, I will see it and remember the everlasting covenant between God and every living creature of all flesh that is on the earth." So this is obviously some Christian players deciding to reframe what the rainbow that was forced upon them in those letters means to them, which seems perfectly reasonable. They didn't get to decide whether they had their logo changed. And here was the reaction from the worst person in America. Truly, this guy is my least favorite politician or soon to be American U.S. congressman. He's going to win Nancy Pelosi's old seat. Scott Wiener, the vile, awful Scott Wiener.
I haven't heard
Here's
this.
his response. Oh, sorry. No, it's written. Those are actually old quotes from him. I'll find it. But he is angry. Where is this? Is this an AM update, you guys? I'm trying to find it. He's very pissed off that they've done this, and he thinks the San Francisco Giants need to do something about this, that they need to crack down somehow on these players. I'll find it, and until I do, Rich, your thoughts.
Yeah, so he said something like, of all days, why couldn't they have done this on some other, the 364 other days, rather than writing this Bible verse on this day, on Pride Night, which gets totally wrong who the aggressor is here, right? These players are being made to wear a social and political symbol that they don't support, that's counter to their Christian values. So it's a form of enforced speech, and this is their dissent from that enforced speech.
Yeah, it's forcing their beliefs on them. And it's not the players doing it, it's the league. See, that's the problem. See, that's what he talked about with that. I was watching a video about narcissistic people. I think it was Mark the Messenger talking about how they'll accuse you of doing what they're doing. So they're forcing their beliefs on them. And if you just, put the Bible verse on the hat with the rainbow actually stands for, the meaning of it that, God has, and then they say you're forcing your beliefs on them. It's like, well, that was long before all of us were even born on the planet. That's just like people saying they're not judgmental and they go around, stereotyping people off zodiac signs. Come on now. That's just stupid.
So look, if you're San Francisco Giants, you're probably gonna have a Pride Night. I wouldn't do it. I don't particularly like it, but changing the uniform and making that a symbol, NHL teams have done this as well. That's a step beyond. It's making these people assent to it, and that's, at the end of the day, that's a big part of the point here. There's a council member out there who had a tweet thread, a thread on X, where he was saying, if you're not okay with this and you're causing so much dissension on the team that you're writing your Bible verse, or one of these guys just wore the traditional cap rather than wearing the rainbow cap, maybe you don't belong in the major leagues. Like, how crazy and despicable, ill and authoritarian is that? These guys work their whole lives, literally since they were kids, to get highly proficient at this sport that's extremely difficult to perform at the highest level. And they're not supposed to play for a major league team unless they're on board with rainbow symbols. And these guys, they are taking a career risk, because 2 or 3 years ago, there's a Blue Jays pitcher who just liked an Instagram post. Remember, there was an anti-Target boycott having to do with this sort of stuff. And he was literally cut from the team and never heard from again, a guy named Anthony Bass.
That is crazy. All right, I found it. Here's what he said. He's criticizing the Giants and the several players who he claims defaced their Pride Night ball caps with a biblical passage. That the biblical passages defaced the pride messaging. Unbelievable, Charlie. He goes on to say, several players defaced their pride caps with a biblical passage that has been hijacked by homophobes to take back the rainbow from LGBTQ people. I'm pretty sure he's got the order of events wrong.
I just think the argument in general is disingenuous. I mean, the argument runs a little bit like this, that it's a private institution. It sort of is. They do have a federal exemption from antitrust law, but it's a private institution. And this is the uniform. And if you play for the team, then you wear the uniform. Okay, sounds innocuous enough. But the next step is, well, there's nothing wrong with adding the Pride Night paraphernalia to the uniform because it's a constitutional right. Okay. Well, so's the Second Amendment. But if a team put, Second Amendment stuff on their uniform and then told everyone to wear it, I think some people would disagree. They would dissent. That's fine. And the same people who are now complaining would say that that was their free speech right. That's why you don't do this, right? That's why you shouldn't, except in extreme circumstances, something that genuinely ought to be completely unifying and uncontroversial, like, America 250 or July 4th patch or something. That's why you just shouldn't do this as institutions. And as Rich says, there is a big difference between hosting a theme night, whether that's Pride Night or not, and changing the uniform. It's the uniform part of this that makes this a bit ugly. And then Major League Baseball saying that there'll be consequences for further altering the uniform. I think that, and I say this as somebody who's pretty pro-gay and has always been in favor of gay marriage, although I thought the Supreme Court decision in Obergefell was a disaster and is wrong.
You know what they should do? They should say, we're here to play sports. We're not doing nothing. We're not doing no pride stuff. We ain't even doing nationality heritage, but we ain't doing none of that. We here to play basketball, baseball, football. That's all we doing. That's all we doing. That's how simple it is to resolve that. We're not promoting nothing. We're just playing a sport. It's that simple.
But I'm not somebody who is hostile toward gay people. But I think some of the skepticism you're seeing, not just toward Pride Month, but toward gay marriage, that has popped up in the last 5 years, a reversal of approval of such things, is the product of exactly this sort of conduct. Because the winning argument was, why do you care? You do your thing, we'll do our thing. Let's leave each other alone. That prevailed. That was quite popular. And now there's a lot of coercion, and you get representatives saying that this is a disgrace, and you get people calling for Major League Baseball to kick these people out. And I think people hate it, and I think they should.
Yeah, you will celebrate my thing.
Right.
That's the new messaging.
Yeah, that's the forcing of beliefs. It's like them teaching that stuff to kids in first grade. The gay BCs and the 1, 2, 3s. I don't know. I kind of Dr. Seuss y'all there, but I don't care. That's what they did.
You must. Thanks for watching this clip. If you're new here, subscribe. We got a whole lot more goodness where that came from. Would love to hear your feedback. You can email me too, Megyn, Megyn, at megynkelly.com, or just leave a comment below. But join the community by becoming a subscriber. We really, really value your input and your support. We may not always agree, but we are always going to talk about it and respect. No BS, no agenda, no fear. Think about this. In 2006, $20,000 equaled roughly 33 ounces of gold at spot price. At today's prices, those 33 ounces would be worth about $165,000. That's why many smart Americans diversify a portion of their savings into precious metals.
I don't know what she's talking about there, but oops. Yeah, man. There's way too much going on out there. They really need to knock off all that. You know, they're always constantly forcing their beliefs on people. That's just what they do. If y'all choose to, you can go ahead and check out this channel, the Megyn Kelly show. I guess it's called Megyn Kelly Clips, something like that. I'll have the link and everything. But yeah, that's just it's too much nowadays. Especially, I'm not surprised it happened in San Francisco because when you're like living here in Washington, we're in the thick of things, if you will. When you in like the most wokest places, you gonna get stirred up in the spirit. Like y'all gonna stop forcing this on me because I'm not doing all this. No matter who you work for, where you at. Like I'm not doing all that. That goes against what I believe, what I stand for. It goes against God's righteousness, just like that one dude said, Jaden Ivey in the NBA. They don't got to go for that. No, nobody got to go for that. Stop forcing that stuff on people. Like I was on one channel, and I was talking about Romans chapter 1. And I pointed out that part of it, and they kept going to this. Oh, it says a lot more than that about what a reprobated or depraved mind, depending on which version you read. But what that is, I said, yeah, I know that. But when you live in a place like I do, I'm pointing that out because that's what I'm dealing with. Not me personally, but me being around it. And they'll constantly do that. I've had people know how I stand, where I stand on that stuff. And like, I'm not for it. I don't hate them, but you need to change your behavior. You're not going to heaven with that behavior. And I've had them bring their kids up to me randomly. Had their kid 9, 7 years old walk up to me talking about, oh, I don't care if somebody's gay. I was like, why would you even be talking to your kid about that? And why would you send them up to me and then start laughing when you did? That's demonic, dude. And then they thought it was funny. Get out of here. And then have the nerve, oh yeah, we believe in Jesus Christ. Like, no, you don't. Oh, actually, you know what? I take that back. You have existence belief, but you don't have faith belief. Because even demons and devils believe. But you ain't put your faith in Christ. Otherwise, you wouldn't be saying stuff like that. And I've also heard people say, well, people who are fornicating, they doing the same thing. Both things are wrong. I said, well, one, they can be out of fornication and be in marriage and still having sexual relations with their wife. That's different than those two people. Because those two people are doing an abomination. That's not supposed to be happening in any way, shape, or form. There is no holy matrimony for them. So people really need to think when they're saying stupid stuff, trying to like sugarcoat it. I don't care what you say. Black licorice is black licorice. I don't care if you candy coated and good and plenty or whatever it's in. I'm not with it. It's still black licorice underneath. So you can come out of fornication and be married, but you cannot come out of that abomination and be married in that abomination. It's still unholy. So I'm going to leave it at that. So, hey, may the Lord continue to bless us all, and I will catch y'all later.